Alright everyone, you may have heard of the compound case. I talked about it briefly before because the judge was in hot water for letting out the alleged potentially murderers, actually letting them out with fairly low bail. I think it was like $20,000, and just an ankle bracelet saying, well, they're not a threat to the community. We have no evidence that they're, doing anything wrong, even though we found a dead body in some makeshift tunnels underneath a buried RV at their compound. But just the fact that they were hanging around with their dead child doesn't mean that they're a public menace of any kind. Now they have, I believe, ID'd the body as the kid that went missing, which is like, who else's fucking body would it be? They had said, well, our son went missing. We don't know what happened to him. That's basically, I believe, what triggered the investigation. And then, of course, they did know where he went because they buried him underneath their compound. So what's happened now? The judge is under fire again, and she definitely needs to resign. I'm surprised that I'm not seeing reports about mass protests out in front of the court right now. Because not only did she let these people go, and now we know that actually they probably did murder their son, or at the very least let him die as some sort of weird cult ritual. The police have come in because she ordered them to go and take the RV. Apparently the RV was stolen or some crazy shit. The police came in, they have completely destroyed every bit of possible forensic evidence that could have existed there. They have trashed the entire compound. It doesn't even exist. Tunnels are filled in. The makeshift structure covering the RV, it's basically decimated. They left a bunch of bullets and military gear lying around in the middle of the fucking desert with all of this trash everywhere. They didn't even clean up after themselves. They went in. They pulled the RV out, apparently just trashed the whole place, including things that they wouldn't have needed to touch to pull the RV out. Now, so the judge orders this. Is this some sort of weird conspiracy between the judge and the police there to not have to try these people because there won't be evidence of any wrongdoing if there's no evidence to actually look at? Is this some sort of weird fuck-up conspiracy where the judge is trying to cover her ass? Like, how corrupt is she? Is she, like, laundering money? Does she and the local police help cartels run drugs and they make money on the side that they then evade taxes on? What the fuck is happening here? This is even crazier than what happened at Waco, arguably. Like at Waco, they burned the compound, which they did. There's video, there's fairly clear video evidence. You can think what you want about the Branch Davidians. The government attacked a compound full of kids when there was no compelling need to. After the compound burned, they basically bulldozed it a few days later, and there's, nothing left of it. Which is odd because you'd think that they would want to have that evidence available if they thought, hey, we're going to be able to basically prove to the public, yeah, these people have like automatic weapons and shit. Lo and behold, of course, from what little evidence we can gather, that appears not to have necessarily been the case, which is a big oopsie-whoopsie for the CIA and other groups. So now the New Mexico police there, I don't know whether this was state police primarily or the FBI itself, go in, they're like, okay, we need to get this RV out of the ground. Why don't we take the walls down? Why don't we destroy these little like shack-like outbuildings? We're just going to leave a bunch of bullets and other shit lying around everywhere with everything else, completely destroying a potential crime scene where they have a possible murder victim was literally there. Wouldn't they want to investigate the site properly before destroying it? No, says Sarah Backus, we got to get that RV because we have to give it back to its owner or something. This is a weird fucking case, and I'm not surprised, therefore, that I'm not seeing much about it. But what I was surprised is that NBC broke the report. Like, the legacy media actually was like, oh, this seems a little bit odd to us. Maybe somebody should look into this. Yes, maybe the FBI should definitely look into this judge and what's happening here. It's funny because the FBI are the ones bringing the case, which naturally makes you skeptical. You're like, well, maybe this is just a hatchet job or something. Maybe this is just the deep state's way of trying to get more gun control, because their basic idea is, well, they're teaching their kids to shoot and use speed loaders and stuff, and it's like, that's not illegal. It's perfectly legal. If you own a firearm, you've got a kid, they don't have to be 18 to operate a firearm. No, absolutely not. You can teach them how to shoot. They can't, like, take it and walk around with it and do stuff. I mean, they're not going to get an open carry permit or something, which you shouldn't have to get a permit anyway, in my opinion. That's not going to happen, but just saying, hey, yeah, here's the 22. I'm going to teach you how to fire this in case, any varmints get into the garden while I'm gone or something. I'm going to teach you how to defend yourself. That's legal. Building tunnels under your so-called house is legal, but neglecting your kids isn't legal. That probably some of the trash they had there would count as toxic waste. That's probably not legal either. And then the big one is, hey, you lied to the police and the FBI and said, hey, I have no clue where my son went. Oh, but they were underneath your house. Now, there's one thing I'd like to point out. I think these people are stark raving mad. The fact that they happen to be like religiously Islamic is a side issue. I think they're nuts. I think they suffer from some severe psychosis or something, because if the FBI comes knocking and says, whoa, your son's gone and stuff like that, you know anything about that, wouldn't you think they wouldn't just bury him underneath their RV in a fucking makeshift tunnel? It's like, yes, this isn't obvious at all. Put him under a pile of rocks in the corner there. The FBI will never investigate us or find... You know, the FBI comes talk to them and they're like, their kids are half naked in rags and they've got like tire walls everywhere. Yes, nothing like this. Nothing odd about this at all. It's not a cult. It's not evidence of systemic mental illness. It's not something fucked up. Now, the claim of the FBI is that they were trying to train their kids to shoot so that they could go and attack schools. I'm not 100% sure of that, but I mean, if they did allow their son to die of epilepsy during an exorcism or something, yeah, it's possible. It would be motivated, though, by mental illness. I don't think that there's any current, even fascistic sect of Islam that specifically condones their particular type of behavior. I think that's more of a thing where your kids are taking part in an actual military exercise, like Hezbollah style or something, I think. Or you know, doing basically the Coke can with the grenade thing, which also happened in Vietnam, among other places. No, this is a weird case, and the judge needs to resign. Absolutely. You can't let out people who probably are murderers, and at the very least, totally fucking nuts, and then destroy the compound, thus destroying, you know, significant amounts of evidence. It's like, what the fuck is going on? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. When things don't make sense, something is afoot. It's either a lie is being told, a conspiracy is occurring, or something. This judge needs to be protested. The people there need to surround the courthouse and make it impossible for her normal business functions to operate until she agrees to step down. Because she's culpable in all this. Look, you should charge her with destroying evidence, because that appears to be the result of what she told the police to do. That's about all. Peace out.